The final Exodus series message, from deliverance to dwelling, when God finished the journey he began. The end of Exodus and the threshold of promise. Every great journey of faith ends not with a trumpet blast, but with a quiet moment of transfer. The Exodus does not end in Egypt. It does not end at the Red Sea, and it does not even end in the wilderness. It ends at the edge of promise, when a people finally prepared to walk where fear once stopped them, and with the servant of God stepping aside, knowing the work entrusted to him is complete. This is not a story about arriving somewhere, it's a story about becoming someone. When Israel cried out in bondage, God heard. When they were trapped between Pharaoh and the sea, God parted the waters. When they starved, God fed them. When they thirsted, God brought water from rock. When they rebelled, God disciplined but did not abandon. For 40 years, God did not merely lead Israel, He formed them. Because salvation is instant, but transformation is not. God did not rush Israel into Canaan because Egypt was still in their hearts. And God is faithful enough to delay a destination until His people are ready to dwell there. Moses, the servant who did not enter. At the end of Deuteronomy, Moses stands on Mount Nebo. From that height, God shows him the land. The promise is visible but untouchable. Moses dies not in failure, but in fulfillment. Since then, no prophet has risen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. Moses led them out. He taught them how to live. He interceded when they failed, and he carried them through rebellion and renewal. But the promised land would require a different kind of leadership. And here's a truth that comforts every faithful servant. God's promises do not die with His servants. Moses' obedience mattered, even though his feet never touched Canaan's soil. Joshua. Faith steps where fear once stood. Joshua rises not as a conqueror first, but as a listener. God speaks, "Be strong and courageous, for I will be with you wherever you go." The Jordan River still stands in the way, but this time the water does not part before they step, it parts after. This is the final lesson of Exodus. Faith must now walk. What fear delayed, obedience must claim. What disbelief postponed, trust must inherit. Israel crosses not as runaway slaves, but as a people shaped by fire, law, mercy, and time. The Exodus was never about escape. It was about identity. God did not rescue Israel from Egypt just to leave them wandering forever. He rescued them for something, to be His people, to reflect His holiness, to carry His presence, and to inherit His promises. The wilderness was not a detour, it was a preparation. And the promised land was not a reward, it was a responsibility. As the Exodus ends, a quiet warning remains. Obedience must continue, because crossing into promise does not guarantee faithfulness. The same people who crossed the Jordan would later forget. And that's why the next chapter, Judges, exists. Freedom without obedience leads to chaos, and promise without submission leads to decline. But even then, God remains faithful. The Exodus whispers the gospel long before Christ arrives. Egypt, into sin. Pharaoh, bondage. The Passover lamb, Christ. The wilderness, sanctification. The promised land, new life. God still saves people out of bondage, then spends a lifetime teaching them how to live free. And like Israel, we often stand at the edge of promise, afraid to trust when God has already guaranteed. The Exodus ends not with shouting, but with readiness. A people no longer defined by chains, but by covenant. A God who kept every word He spoke, and our future still unfolding. If you are standing in a wilderness today, do not despair. God does not waste deserts. If you are standing at the edge of something new, do not hesitate. Faith steps forward. because the God who delivered you out will also bring you in, and he will finish what he began. Amen and amen. I hope you enjoyed this little mini series on Exodus. God bless you and have a good day.